Welcome back into the Sports Source. This segment of our program brought to you by Jinx Logos. And folks, nobody does a better job of helping you publicize your company than Jimmy Andrews and his crew at Jinx Logos. He's got a catalog of merchandise. I'm telling you, that thing weighs 10 pounds. His prices can't be beat. Take a look at the desk here. Prices can't be beat. His merchandise can't be beat. And the prices can't be beat. You can see they've done copper, silver versions, caps, visors for Sports Source with our new logo and just the word mark there. They could do the same for your business. Polo shirts, caps, golf balls, anything you want to hand out to publicize your company. Jimmy Andrews, Jinx Logos, the team to call. I'm telling you, the thing that's great about them, even better than the prices and the merchandise and the selection, the customer service is beyond compare. Jinx Logos. All right. Guys, we said we'd talk about the offensive line. Let's dive into that right now. We got our spring preview. I think we got a graphic here somewhere. There we go. Grade for 2014.
Start with me?
Yeah. Quickly.
D is in Delta.
All right, D Delta.
The Delta Dogs. I'll give a C minus. You know.
Really?
Yes.
You're grading on the age curve, the experience curve.
Well, I'm grading on what they had to work with, which wasn't much, and you had a guy playing with a torn ACL, and you did better. I thought you got a lot out of that unit. So, I mean, it's really a D+, but I'm going to give them a C.
You made it to a bowl with the least experienced offensive line in college football.
I give Gillum a lot of credit for playing with a torn ACL, but he shouldn't have been out there if they'd had better linemen.
Yeah.
To handle that position. I'm going to go D+.
Okay.
With the offensive line.
Better or worse in 2015?
Better.
Has to be.
Got to be. Well, they got a little bit better at the end of the year, too. Yeah. Now, it certainly helped with Dobbs. Mm-hmm. It wasn't all Dobbs because the coach will tell you the grades got better, too. But it was a lot Dobbs. And I think in the true zone read that Tennessee's going to run, that will help mask the offensive line from being average.
Another thing that shows that it wasn't just Dobbs, when Matt Crowder came out of that lineup for 2 games at center, things kind of went south real quickly. When he came back, they looked better again. Is this going to be a better offensive line in 2015?
Oh, yes. I mean, and you hit some big-time recruits, and there's going to be more competition, and you can actually have 2 deep, I think, at several positions.
Mike?
Yeah, I think it will be because some of these guys, they're juniors and seniors now. They are who they are. But you take a guy like Ja'Shawn Robertson, who started as a true freshman, he's going to get better. Somebody else is going to get better. Brett Kendrick's probably still going to get better wherever he fits in the mix. So.
And you had some young guys last year that also played out of position.
True.
Yes.
Yeah. So you hope Coleman Thomas is better.
Yeah.
John, I think they're going to be fine up the middle, guards and center. They got to identify tackles. So that's going to be the concern.
Well, that's our last question here. That's the last one. What is the most important need or development this offseason? And Jimmy, I'll let you start it since you just said it.
Offensive tackle. Yeah. And Kyler Kerbyson played the left side. He's better suited to the right side. He's actually better suited to play guard.
Right.
But he'll be one of them. They're hoping Drew Richmond's good enough to play left tackle. They're hoping Dontavius Blair comes along and can play left tackle. Brett Kendrick has played tackle for him. Coleman Thomas was out of position. He's better suited inside. But they've got a lot of different pieces at least now. And they're going to start the Mosley kid on the offensive line at tackle, the one that sat out a year ago because of the broken leg from a car wreck. So they've got some different folks that are going to give a chance to play that tackle spot.
Yeah, I think a lot of it is Drew Richmond. I think he needs to be like that number 1 recruit position. He can be left tackle. I'm really curious to see how Jack Jones does because if you watch film of Jack from Murfreesboro, he finishes blocks, and he's an effort guy, and I think he's going to be a big surprise in this group.
Mike, biggest need of this offseason?
Pass protection, I think, when you look at the sacks, and that's a lot of that's tackle. But you look how many sacks they gave up last year that just kept them. It just totally sabotaged any number of games.
My biggest thing, improvement from the guys that are already here. I know that the idea is you got a top recruit in Drew Richmond. You want him right out there, and that sounds great. You had 6 guys. You had 6 starts, all from one guy that returned last year. 6. The SEC average is about 72 starts returning on the offensive line per year. Tennessee's going to be about 66, around 70 maybe this year.
Yeah.
I don't think you want full-scale turnover because you're moving back to square one. What you want are some of those guys that were in there last year to develop so much that it's actually hard for a Drew Richmond to get out there on the field. I don't think that's going to happen.
Yeah.
But I think in terms of finding that consistency. That is the one position on the field where everybody has to know what the guy beside him is doing. You
Right.
take one guy out like Matt Crowder, everything starts going south. I think it's important for the guys that they had last
Yeah.
year to take a big step forward
And
this
like
offseason.
I think Jimmy pointed out, playing more of a natural position, playing more where you're more comfortable.
And it's a big if Drew Richmond could do for the offensive line what Derek Barnett did for the defensive line,
Yeah.
that would make a huge difference.
That would be, yeah. That one
That's-
would go ahead and play him. If that's
Yeah.
the case, put him in there. All right. The Tennessee Athletic Department has been accused of having a little too much say in student discipline when it comes to their athletes. That came out in the Tennessean this week. It's something that's been around for a couple of years. We'll talk about it when we come back very quickly on the Sports Source.